Beautiful book by Vivek. And the book is very important for all of us because it seeks to answer a question which is in our mind. And the question is, how is it that we have suddenly become intolerant, anti-minority, anti-women, anti-this, anti-that in the last 3 to 4 years? And how is it we are told that we are casteist, we are anti-development, and we can't think for ourselves? How is it we are told that the Indian army is an occupation force in Kashmir and rapes the Kashmiris? And in our own country, we are made to feel like second-class citizens. How is it that our temples are run by the government? The Supreme Court passed an order to have appointed administrator for the Puri Jagannath temple. It's none of the Supreme Court business to appoint an administrator on a temple. A temple belongs to us who are Hindus. We have to run the temple, not the government. And no religious institution of any other religion is run by the government in this country. Nobody else. All the lands, the Hindu temples have been encroached. Openly they come and denigrate our gods. If you go to the internet, you find many evangelists who convert people with money, who abuse us. The videos are there. And you point it out like I did on Twitter. Neither a Barkadat, nor a Radhif Sadesai, nor a Shekhar Gupta. Nobody will point a finger, nobody will stand up for the truth. Why is it that we are getting abused in our own country? So we are all perplexed. And this book provides the answer. This book provides the answer. That's why this book is very, very important. And I want to congratulate Vivek for telling us the truth and exposing the conspiracy that some people have done to make us feel strong, to destroy our culture, destroy our minds, to capture this country, and to rule over us in a very different manner. Now, people tell us that the idea of India is an idea that belongs to one family, one person. One family, one person. Nobody else. And that's the idea of India. Modern India was born in the freedom movement. In the freedom movement, thousands and thousands of ordinary people came together to answer the call of our great freedom fighters to fight against the British, to create a country which was a civilization. Poor women came out, Pardanishi women came out. When Gandhi asked for money, they took the thali, they took the bangles and gave it to him. Poor people in villages who had 2 rotis gave 1 roti. They gave everything. That was a freedom movement. People march on the streets. When the British told them to stop, they stopped. The British beat them with the lathis and killed them. They didn't raise their hand. The greatest courage a human being can have is the moral courage to stand before tyranny and not to submit. It's easy to take a gun and shoot somebody. Easy, because you got a weapon. But it's very difficult to stand unarmed before tyranny and say, do your might, I will not raise my hand. And the ordinary Indian did that. These are the people who fought for our freedom. These are the people all over the country who defeated the British Empire and brought it down. And these are the people who gave us the country. And these are the people who told us about India. They gave us a dream of a great country. A country where everybody will be equal. Everybody will have their rights protected by the state. There will be justice given to everybody. And there will be education for us. And we'll create a great new nation. That's the promise. And this promise came to us in the Constituent Assembly, where 250 odd people came together to write the constitution of this country, put it into a document, and they created the constitution. So the idea of India is the idea of the freedom movement, the idea of the constitution. It is there in the document, and that's the real idea of India. And it says, Bharat, that is India. We the people of India. Bharat, that is India. Bharat. It is Bharat. And Bharat goes back to Bharata. So it's a civilization, and is accepted. And we promise ourselves that everybody will be equal. Everybody will be treated equal. Yes, there are prejudices. There is discrimination against women, against the poor, against certain caste. It is there in the human being, it is true. But we promise ourselves we will eliminate all that. And that's the journey that we are in. So the idea of India belongs to all of us. It is our idea. And the idea of India is the idea in the constitution, not the idea of one family. Now the idea of family does not know what is India, who lives in luxury in Delhi, paid by us, paid by us, paid by the very poor of this country, and who goes and abuses us all the time, who sells us out to foreign interest. And these are the people. And then when India got independent, We all voted for a particular party. Yes, the party fought for freedom, but Gandhi said it must be abolished for various reasons because they come to power. Then they hit upon a very important idea. Instead of unifying us, break up the Hindu community into different castes. Why? If you break it up into castes, combine farm and get the Muslims together, you can come to power. Because you need 35% of the votes. And what did they tell the poor Muslims? They told the poor Muslims, you've been through partition and the rights, and I'll talk about the partition in a while. And in those rights you have been killed, we will protect you. So they created fear. They created fear in the minds that the only protection can be one party, one this. And that caste combination continued for a set of people to come to power. They were not interested in India. They were not interested in keeping us together. They were interested in breaking us up, keeping us poor. The gentleman called Prasenjit Basu, he asked a political leader from India in Singapore a question about his family. You must see that video. He's written a book, Asia Reborn. And he told a question. In 1947, when India got her freedom, we were the largest economy in Asia. Japan was destroyed. We were about 4% of the world's trade, 10% of the world's GDP. And he said from 1947, 1950, when we became a republic, till 1984, we grew 1% less than the world per year. 1% less than the world from here. And a leftist economist, Raj Krishna, called it the Hindu rate of growth. Hindu rate of growth. Abusive again. Why Hindu rate of growth? He called the Hindu rate of growth because they wanted to denigrate. All these are techniques to denigrate. And we grew 1% less. We were the richest country, we became the poorest country. In 1845, China, India made up 45% of world GDP. Then the British came and took away $400 billion of wealth from 1850 to 1930 to build the British Empire, to build Great Britain. 125, the 200 richest families from Britain got the money from India. This book is written, this in fact written by Will Durant, an American philosopher, in the book, The Case for India. You must read the book, you'll get tears in your eyes. And Will Durant says, the most sordid exploitation of any country by another country is the exploitation of India by the British. And we're all taught to worship the British. The British gave us India. The British gave us railways. The British gave us civilization. The British taught us the English. We've got to be grateful for them. And that's what all these Western educated people. I speak English, but I'm very proud of my Indian ancestry. I'm an Indian. I'm a very proud Hindu. I respect all religions. I've gone to 150 churches around the world and prayed for everybody. I pray for everybody because pray for everybody, I pray for myself. I've been to 15 mosques around the world and pray for everybody. I've been to 50 Buddhist temples around the world and prayed for everybody. Why? That is my culture, because I'm a Hindu, I have no dogma. I don't have a dogma. I can do what I want. I'm free. The ultimate freedom in the world is a Hindu civilization. It is there because there's no dogma. We don't believe in one God. We are polymorphic. We believe in a God which is manifest in different forms. We are polymorphic, not polytheistic. That's the wrong word. Polymorphic. We are a single God, but there are many, many manifestations. That's why we have the Ishta Devata. The evangelists abuse us. Oh, they're idol worshippers. They worship 33 crore gods. All rubbish. They're idiots. You must oppose them. So that is what happened in politics. And over a period of time, the left, the communist left, fought that this is a poor country, they should come to power. But they never could come to power because India did not have class. In Russia, in Europe, there was class. Why class? There were the rich and the poor. The poor were the serfs because they were feudal, became workers. And the workers were exploited. So these came with Marx's philosophy, gathered them, and he wrote the Communist Manifesto. And the Communist Manifesto is the abolition of the state and the creation of the workers' proletariat. Right? They create the republic. So it leads to violence. It's a very violent philosophy that Marx wrote because he said there's no other way of changing the status quo. So there is no class. And they found that because Indians don't understand that, because we are broken up into families, we have jatis. We have jatis, we have family. That is a unit of society. And we all are very different. We have got 1,600 languages, 29 states. We are very diverse people by nature. We all live together, but very diverse. He and I may have a beard, but then he sees different fruit. He dresses somewhere differently, different rituals, but we both are the same. We both are the same set of people. And we like that to happen. So, the Marxists failed. Then they hit upon the idea, as it happened in Germany, is a global conspiracy. If you read some of the literature, they tell you, after the failure of communism in the fall of the Berlin Wall, they came together and said, we must now control the minds and infiltrate universities. So the people who were adherents of the Fabian school, adherents of the communist philosophy, infiltrated all the universities and started ruling all the universities. And after JNU was started, Nurul Hasan, who was then the Minister for Higher Education, who was a communist, because the communists joined with, I think, Indira Gandhi around the time, 1965, and 69. Nurul Hasan was there, and they joined together, and they made sure only the Marxists were there. K.M. Panikar, or some historian, gave a famous interview to say, in those days you could not get a job as a faculty if you're not a Marxist. So much for tolerance. If you're not a Marxist, you will not get a job. They interview everybody, and JNU was created. And in JNU, one professor teaches to her students, I don't want to give the name, that the Indian army is an occupation army in Kashmir, and they rape the Kashmiri women. The Indian army. Now, it is okay to say what you want, but they prevent somebody else from coming and talking to them about alternative views. Now that is the shocker. We are a free country. You can abuse us, you can abuse the government, you can do anything, that's freedom of speech. But you can't prevent others talking what they want. They prevent others talking what they want. When Chetan Bhagat went there, they protested. Baba Ramji went there, they protested. If you don't want to listen to Baba Ramji, don't listen to him. Who cares? You stop that. Then I'll come to you. I won't talk about you. I'll come to you. Very important. Okay, they stopped that. They allowed, and then Kavita Krishnan, I want to give the name, CPI-ML secretary. Maoist Leninist, a party wedded to violence, stands up for human rights, stands up for democracy, stands up for people together. Can you believe that? And brainwash, and we all say, Thalia, great human rights activist. What kind of rubbish is that? And look at Vivek. When Vivek went to Jadavpur University, what do? They come and bag and say, there is no place for an alternative narrative. They try to beat him up. Violence. They want to suppress him. They want to do that. And then they say, we are intolerant. The rest of us poor, silent people who live in this country, work very hard to earn a living, we're all intolerant. And we look around, who is intolerant? Me? What have I done? And they create that narrative of intolerance of few people. And now I'll give some names. Barkat Dutt ran a campaign. And if you look at all the campaigns in the last 4 years, all the campaigns start before the elections and die after the elections. It's a conspiracy. She said that some churches were attacked. There were 7 vandalism attacks against churches. In the same period, if you look at the National Crime Register, Vivek, there were 293 vandalism attacks against Hindu temples. Same time. Nobody spoke about it. And when Archbishop came and said, oh, we are feeling this, the same Archbishop, I think he wrote some letter. We should never allow them to come on TV. The religious people, they must stay in the place. There should be separation. In our civil society, there is no place for religious leader to dominate politics. That's very dangerous. Whether you are Hindu, Muslim or Christian, never allow them to come. Keep them away. They are in their place, we are in our place. Our secular life is our life. We must accept that. So they came and said that, and then it died down. And then it became another campaign of intolerance. Why? One person was lynched. A mob. It happened. It's a criminal act. It's a crime. The crimes happen. They said India is becoming intolerant. India is intolerant, blah, 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 blah. All of us become intolerant. What have we done? What have we got to do with that place in UP which nobody has heard of? Has anybody heard of the place before it happened? Nobody heard of the place. But they want to create that narrative. And why create the narrative? I was in London. Same time when Modi came to the Guildhall, I listened to him. He gave a very good speech. Before that, there was an event. I was sitting on a table when an elderly lady of 80 came and sat down. She's Baroness dash dash dash, who runs the British Library. Said, I signed a petition today protesting against Modi's coming to UK. I said, why? No, India is becoming intolerant, lynching is happening. I said, look, I just left India 24 hours back, just tolerant, everything was fine. I told the last 24 hours, anything has happened to make it less tolerant. So why are you writing this? No, I'm an Indophile. I said, if you love India, look at facts and figures and then talk. Don't abuse us. Don't malign us. Don't give us a bad name. Don't give us a bad name. Look at yourself in the mirror. And this is a narrative that's happening. And then this tirade carried with that award vapasi. Some 50 people gave the awards. I don't know how many of them deserve the awards in the first place. Please, Vivek, some people gave an award.
One director returned Anupam Kher's award.
I was on a TV at the NDTV. I was on a TV panel. And they were this Nayanthara Sehgal, I think Jawaharlal Nehru's niece. He was there, said, oh, I am very